Hare Krishna. So we are continuing with Paramatma Sandarbha, the three forms of Paramatma, text 2. The qualification for seeing Paramatma should be understood to be bhakti. As previously mentioned, there are three types of appearance as explained in Narada Tantra. Vishnustu trini rupani purushakhyani ato vidu pratamam mahata shrashtra dvitiyam tvanda samstitam tritiyam sarva bhutastam tani jnatva vimuchyate. The wise know that the Purusha consists of three forms of the original Vishnu. The first is the creator of the Mahatattva. The second is situated within the universe. The third is each living entity. Knowing these three, one becomes liberated. The first form is the single witness of the Jīva and Prakriti when they come together in the totality of all universes. This form is described in Yatagnek Shuddha Visfulinga Vyucharanti, as small sparks emanate from a fire, and Sa Aikshata, he glanced. He is called Sankarshana or Mahavishnu. Brahma Samhita explains this. Yathata Lingam Bhagavan Shambhur Jyoti Rupa Sanatana. The Lord's eternal form called Shambhu, whose body is consciousness, is an expansion of Krishna. Asmin Avirabhul Linge Mahavishnu Jagatpati. Having appeared with an indistinct form, Mahavishnu then appeared with a distinct form as the master of all living entities in the universe. Having appeared with an indistinct form, Mahavishnu then appeared with a distinct form as the master of all living entities in the universe. His form is described in Brahma Samhita, starting with the words Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Narayana Sa Bhagavan, Apas Tasmat Sanatanat, Avirashit, Karanarno Nidhi, Sankarshanatmaka, Yoga Nidram Gatas Tasmin Sahasramsha Swayam Mahan. The Supreme Lord is called Narayana because the waters of the Karana ocean arise from his eternal form. Narayana is non-different from Sankarshana. This Mahavishnu lies in Yoga Nidra in this ocean. Countless avatars reside in him. Brahma Samhita 5:12. Tadroma bila jaleshu bijam sankarshanasya cha haimani andani jatani mahabhutavritani tu. The Jivas, in combination with Prakriti, had been resting within the hair holes of Sankarshana, Mahavishnu. The Jivas and Prakriti take the form of golden eggs. The primitive forms of universes covered with the 5 great elements before the elements combine. Brahma Samhita 5:13. the Jivas and Prakriti take the form of golden eggs, the primitive forms of covered with the 5 great elements before the elements combine. Brahma Samhita 5.13. Shambhu, meaning parent, is a special Amsha Linga of Lord Govinda expressed in Yasya Yuta Yuta Shamse. Shambhu, meaning parent, is a special Amsha Linga of Lord Govinda expressed in Yasya Yuta Yuta Shamse. Yam Stita, Vishnu Purana 1953 quoted above. Since Govinda manifests the Purusha forms, this expansion is called Linga or special expansion. The second Purusha is the Antaryami of all Jivas in a particular universe. Tat Srishtva Tad Evanu Pravishat. Having created the universe, the Lord entered into it. Taittiriya Upanishad 2.62. There are many forms of these souls of the universes. Since there are many universes, sometimes the subtle Antaryami is called Pradyumna and the gross form is called Aniruddha. Sometimes the subtle Antaryami is called Pradyumna and the gross form is called Aniruddha. These forms related to creation or amshas of the forms of Sankarshana. These forms related to creation or amshas of the forms of Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha situated in Mahavaikuntha. And the forms which act as the presiding deities of Chitta, Ahankara, intelligence and mind, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha are also amshas of the Vaikuntha forms. The third Purusha, the Antaryami of the individual Jīva, is described as follows. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vriksham Praishasva Jate Tayor Anya Pippalam Swadvati Anashnan Anyo Bicha Kashiti. Two beautiful birds associate in the same tree as friends. Of the two, one relishes eating the fruit, the other not eating shines. Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.1. He has many forms since there are many jivas. The manifestation of the first Purusha is described as follows. Adyo Vatara Purusha Parasya Kalaha Swabhava Sad Asan Manascha Dravyam Vikaro Guna Indriyani Virat Swarat Stasnu Chirashnu Bhumna Mahavishnu, an expansion of the Lord of Vaikunth, Swabhava, effect and cause, Mahatattva, the five gross elements, false ego, the three gunas, Mahatattva, the five gross elements, false ego, the three gunas, the senses, the universal form, the totality of jivas, the individual jivas as non-moving and moving beings, all of these are related to the Supreme Lord, SB 2642. The instigator of Prakriti, Purusha, is an expansion of the Lord Parasya. He who was described as having 1,000 heads is the pastime form of the Lord. He is the first avatara in the material world, Adyo Avatara. Here and elsewhere, the word avatara refers to the Lord appearing within the material realm, which is known as Ekapada Vibhuti. The above verse was spoken by Brahma to Narada. Here and elsewhere, avatara refers to the Lord appearing within the material realm, which is known as Ekapada Vibhuti. The above verse was spoken by Brahma to Narada. The word avatara refers to the Lord appearing within the material realm, which is known as Ekapada Vibhuti. The above verse was spoken by Brahma to Narada. Text 3. The second Purusha is described as follows. Kalena soja Purusha Yusha Pravrutta Yogena Virudha Bodha Swayam Tad Antar Hridaye Vabhatam Apashyata Pashyata Yanna Purvam Mrinala Gaurayata Shesha Bhoga Ekam Purusham Shayanam. By his practice of meditation on the Lord for 100 human years, Brahma attained realization of the Lord. He saw the Lord who manifested himself in his heart, who could not be seen previously by searching. He saw the one Lord sleeping on the broad bed of Shesha, white like a white water lily, floating upon the waters of devastation. SB 3822. He saw the Lord who manifested himself in his heart, who could not be seen previously by searching. He saw the Lord who manifested himself in his heart, who could not be seen previously by searching. He saw the one Lord sleeping on the broad bed of Shesha, white like a water lily, floating upon the waters of devastation. SB 3822. This Purusha with 1,000 heads is situated on the Garbhodaka ocean. Is Pradyumna. Purusha is Pradyumna. Purusha Yusha means for 100 years. Brahma performed Bhakti Yoga for 100 years. Purusha Yusha means for 100 years. Brahma performed Bhakti Yoga for 100 years. Purusha Yusha means for 100 years. Brahma performed Bhakti Yoga for 100 years. Parardhya Keyura Mani Praveka Paryasta Dordanda Sahasra Shakam Avyakta Moolam Bhuvanang Gripendram Ahindra Bhoger Adivita Valsham. As a sandalwood tree is decorated with fragrant flowers and branches, the Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. As the sandalwood tree spreads its branches everywhere, the Lord spreads his arms over the universe. As the tree's root cannot be seen, the Lord has pradhana beneath him, avyakta moolam. As the tree's root cannot be seen, the Lord has pradhana beneath him, avyakta moolam. Avyakta moolam. As the sandalwood tree is the king of trees, the Lord protects the world by his great power. He controls Indram, the 14 worlds, which are his feet. As a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes, so the Lord's shoulders were touched by the hoods of Ananta. Shoulders were touched by the hoods of Ananta. SB 3829. Avyakta Moolam in SB 3829 means he had Pradhana beneath him. He controls Indram, the 14 worlds, which are protected by his feet. Bhuvanangri Pa. This description is from a conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. The third Purusha is described as follows. Kechitsva Dehantar Hridayavakashe Pradesha Matram Purusham Vasantam Chaturbhujam Kanja Rathanga Shankha Gada Dharanaya Smaranti. Some yogis meditate upon the Paramatma, measuring one Pradesha, who is residing in the heart within the body and who holds the lotus, wheel, conch, and club in his four hands. SB 228. A Pradesha is the distance between the forefinger and thumb. A Pradesha is the distance between the forefinger and thumb. The thumb, Shriti Apekshaya tu Manushyadhikaratvat. The Lord is said to be the size of a thumb because of the heart size of humans. The Lord is said to be the size of a thumb because of the heart size of humans who are qualified for meditation in the heart. Brahma Sutra 1.3.25. This verse is spoken by Shukadeva. Text 5. Though the Purushas are many, they're actually one. An example is given to illustrate this. Yata nila stavara Jangamanam Atma Swarupena Nivishta Ished Evam Paro Bhagavan Vasudeva Kshetrajna Atmedam Anupravishta. Just as the air enters all moving and stationary beings, as prana and controls them, the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, the knower of all bodies, pervading everywhere, enters this universe. Pervading everywhere, enters this universe. SB 5:11-14. Atma Swarupena means with the prana. Ishet means he controls. Idam refers to the universe. Shruti says, Eko Deva Sarva Bhuteshu Gudaha, Sarva Vyapi Sarva Bhutanta Ratma, Karma Dhyaksha Sarva Bhutadivasa, Sa Kevalo Nirgunascha. The Lord alone has entered all beings. He is all pervading. He is the Antaryami of all beings. He is the controller of karma. He is the basis of all beings. He is the witness and the giver of consciousness. He is the possessor of Shakti. He is beyond the gunas. Shveta Shvatara Upanishad 6:11. This verse is spoken by Jada Bharata to Rahugana. Text 6. This oneness is further explained. Eka eva parohi atma sarvesham api dehinam naneva grihyate mudhair yatha jyotir yatha nabha. Those who are bewildered perceive the Paramatma residing in all embodied beings as many, just as one may. Those who are bewildered perceive the Paramatma. Those who are bewildered perceive the Paramatma residing in all embodied beings as many. Those who are bewildered perceive the Paramatma residing in all embodied beings as many, just as one may perceive reflections of light or sky in pots. SB 10:54-44. Dehina means of the jivas. Atma means Paramatma. Baladeva speaks to Rukmini. Text 7. Eka eva parohi atma bhuteshva atmani avastita yatendur uda patreshu bhutani ekatmakani cha. The one Paramatma is situated within all material bodies and within everyone's soul. The one Paramatma is situated within all material bodies and within everyone's soul. Just as the moon is reflected in innumerable reservoirs of water. Every material body is the effect of Paramatma. SB 11:18-32. One supreme Paramatma lives in all jivas, bhuteshu, in his swarupa, atmani, and is not contaminated like the jivas. One supreme Paramatma is in all jivas, bhuteshu, in his swarupa, atmani, and is not contaminated like the jivas. Paramatma is identified ekatmakani with the jiva's body since he is its cause. The Lord speaks this verse to Uddhava. Gunavataras, text 8. Having explained that the one Purusha has many forms, now the Purushas having explained that the one Purusha has many forms, now the Purusha's Paramatma's Amshas will be described. Having explained that the one Purusha has many forms, now the Purusha's Paramatma's Amshas will be described. Having explained that the one Purusha has many forms, now the Purushas, Paramatmas, Hamsas will be described. There are two types of Amshas, Swamsha and Vibhinamsha. The Vibhinamshas are the Jivas, composed of Tatastha Shakti. Swamsas are various, with types like Gunavataras and Leelavataras. The Vibhinamshas are the Jivas, composed of Tatastha Shakti. Swamshas are various, with types like Gunavataras and Leelavataras. The Leelavataras will be explained in Krishna Sandarbha in the appropriate place. The Gunavataras of the second Purusha are described as follows. Adav Abhuchata Driti Rajasasya Sarge Vishnu Stitau Kratu Patir Dvija Dharma Setu Rudropya Pyayaya Tamasa Purushasa Adya Iti Udbhava Sthiti Laya Satatam Prajasu. In the beginning, the Purusha appeared as Brahma through Rajoguna for creation, as Vishnu, the Lord of sacrifice, the protector of Dharma of maintenance, and as Shiva through Tamoguna for destruction. In this way, creation, maintenance, and as Shiva through Tamoguna for destruction. In this way, creation, maintenance, and destruction of the living entities takes place at all times. In this way, creation, maintenance, and destruction of the living entities takes place at all times. SB 11.4.5. The creator of the three gunas, Adya Purusha, became Brahma. The controller of the three gunas, Adya Purusha, became Abhut, Brahma. Shatadriti, the controller of the three gunas, became Brahma for creation of the universe by Rajoguna in the beginning, as a pastime for situating himself in the gunas. He became Vishnu, being situated by Sattva-guna. Sattva-guna, however, is not directly mentioned in that it is improper to indicate that Vishnu, who is completely beyond the gunas, has even an indirect relationship with the gunas. As even an indirect relationship with the gunas. Vishnu is the giver of results when he acts as the protector of the Jivas, Kratupati. Vishnu's form of Yajna, Kratupati, Lord of Sacrifice, a Leelavatara, is mentioned in the second canto by Brahma. Vishnu's form of Yajna, a Leelavatara, is mentioned in the second canto by Brahma. He is the protector, Setu, is the protector Setu of the Dharma of the twice born. He became Rudra for destruction of the universe by Tamoguna. In this way, creation, maintenance, and destruction take place. This verse was spoken by Drumila to King Nimi. This verse was spoken by Drumila to King Nimi. This verse was spoken by Drumila to King Nimi. In Moksha Dharma, the appearances of Brahma and Shiva are also described. Brahme ratrikshaye prapte tasya hayamita tejasa prasadat pradura bhavat padmam padma nibekshana tato brahma samabhavatsa tasyaiva prasadacha ahnakshaye lalatach chasuto devasya vai tatha krodha vishtasya sangjagne rudra samhara karaka. At the end of Brahma's night, the Lord produces a lotus out of his unlimitedly powerful mercy. Brahma, receiving the Lord's mercy, appears in that lotus. Lotus out of his unlimitedly powerful mercy. Brahma, receiving the Lord's mercy, appears in that lotus. Brahma, receiving the Lord's mercy, appears in that lotus. At the end of his day, his son Shiva, the destroyer, appears from his forehead when Brahma became angry. Mahabharata 12, 328, 15 to 16. At the end of Brahma's night, the Lord produces a lotus out of his unlimitedly powerful mercy. Brahma, receiving the Lord's mercy, appears in that lotus. At the end of his day, his son Shiva, the destroyer, appears from his forehead when Brahma becomes angry. Bharata 12, 328, 15 to 16. The appearance of Vishnu is described in the third canto. The appearance of Vishnu is described in the third canto. Talloka Padmam Sau Eva Vishnu Pravi Vishat Sarva Gunavabhasam Tasmin Swayam Vedamayo Vidhata Swayambhuvam Yamsma Vadanti Sobhut. O Vidura, Vishnu entered that lotus of all the planets, which reveals all the enjoyable objects for the Jivas. Brahma, known as self-born, composer of the Vedas, appeared within that lotus. SB 3.8.15. The Purusha, who is Narayana or Vishnu, entered in possession of his full powers, Pravi Vishat. The lotus constituted of the planet Padma, meant for producing objects for the Jiva's enjoyment. Sarva Gunava Bhasam. Brahma appears in the lotus placed there by Vishnu. Brahma appears in the lotus placed there by Vishnu in order to carry out creation. From elements already there, placed there by Vishnu in order to carry out creation from elements already there, like a potter making pots out of clay. The same is described in other places as well. Sattvam Rajas Tama iti Prakriter Gunaster Yukta Parama Purusha Eka Ihasya Datte Stityadaye Hari Virinchi Hareti Sanya Shreyamsi Tatra Khalu Sattva Tanur Nenam Syu. The one Supreme Purusha, accepting the gunas of Prakriti known as Sattva, Rajas and Tamas for creation, maintenance and destruction, is called Vishnu. The one Supreme Purusha, accepting the gunas of Prakriti known as Sattva, Rajas and Tamas for creation, maintenance and destruction, is called is called Vishnu. Brahma and Shiva is called Vishnu. The one supreme Purusha accepting the gunas of Prakriti known as Sattva, Rajas and Tamas for creation, maintenance and destruction is called Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva. The best results for the devotees will come from Vishnu with Shuddha Sattva body. SB 1-23. Text 9. Thus it is said, Yo va aham cha girishascha vibhu swayam cha sthiti udbhava pralaya hetava atma moolam vitva tripad vivavruddha eka urupa praroras tasmai namo bhagavate bhuvana drumaya. I offer my respects to the Supreme Lord, the tree of the worlds, who is Brahma, the cause of creation, Shiva, the cause of destruction, and independent Vishnu, cause of maintenance, and who, though one after dividing up Pradhana, increases into 3 branches, Gunavataras, and then into extended branches, Prajapatis and Manus. SB 3-9-16. Gunavataras, and then into extended branches, Prajapatis and Manus. Tripat means the 3 branches, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. The other is described as a tree with the guna, with the Gunavataras as branches. Brahma speaks to Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Shruti also says, Purushoha vai narayano kamayata atha narayanat ajo jayata yata praja sarvani bhutani. The Purusha whose Vishnu desired, then from Narayana Brahma was born. From Brahma, all the living beings came, all the living beings, Narayana Upanishad. Narayana Param Brahma Tattvam, Narayana Param Ridam Satyam, Param Brahma Purusham Krishna Pingalam. Narayana, the Purusha Avtara, is the Supreme Brahman. Narayana is the real object. The Supreme Brahman is eternal truth. He is a person with a dark complexion. Mahanarayana Upanishad. Eko Narayana Sinna Brahman, Nacha Sankarshana, Sa Munir Bhutva Samachinta Eva Vaijayanta. Vishvo Hiranyagarbho Hirnir Varuna Rudrendra. One Narayana, Paramatma, existed at the beginning. Brahma and Shiva. One Narayana Paramatma existed in the beginning. Brahma and Shiva did not exist. Being silent, he meditated. From him arose the universe. Brahma, Agni, Varuna, Shiva, and Indra. Therefore, it's correct to speak of the Purusha Avatar as Vishnu, position of Vishnu compared to Shiva and Brahma. From him arose the universe, Brahma, Agni, Varuna, Shiva, and Indra. Narayana Upanishad. Therefore, it's correct to speak of the Purusha Avtara as Vishnu, position of Vishnu compared to Shiva and Brahma. Hare Krishna, I would like to stop here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.